Are we rolling?
Let's take a look. There's the project bike.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the garage. This is Glenn. As you can see, we're just getting ready for the end of the first day here. Beautiful sunset here out in the Carlsbad, San Diego area. Hey, hope everyone's doing well. COVID and everything. Fortunately, knock on wood, I have not, my family, we've all been safe. And here's what's been going on with the bike.
So we've got a lot of stuff going on. We're able to get a little bit more room here in the garage, and we dug out some of the good tools, torque wrench. I had the impact driver out, things like that. But current project was we were digging in and basically working on the rear brake. So the old rear brake was on there. Had those wonderful little Phillips head screws on them. And as you can see, these actually came out of the front, and we'll go up to the front here in just a bit. But these things were rock solid. Again, history on the bike. You can take a look at one of the earlier videos. I'll fill you in there. They'll fill you in. But basically, we're looking at a 30-year-old bike. Rotor had never been changed. Now, problem. Started with these things. These are basically red Loctited in from the factory. So after 30 years, you can only imagine. I struggled with the front one, but I was able to get it out without doing any damage to anything. I've got an issue here on the back. So I was able to get 3 out. And strangely enough, I mean, I was using the old impact screwdriver right there. And about the 3rd one in on this screw, man, the screw head started going whack. And as you can see right here, we started to have even a larger issue. And we've got an issue over here as well with a busted screw. But got the 3 out. Then I was like, okay, had one that was kind of stripped out. It happens to be this one. The head's around here somewhere. But went down to the local shop, parts store. Well, what happened was let's see if it's in here still. Actually, I think it's in the car. But the Phillips head that went into here basically started to deform with all the hammering. And as a result of that, it screwed up the head of the screw, and it also damaged basically the screwdriver fitting. So went down and bought just a set of what were supposed to be impact screws. Screw heads. This is the damaged one. As you can see, and I've actually filed on it a little bit, but basically see how it twisted. Yeah, so not good. And since I don't have a grinding wheel or anything like that, I couldn't sharpen it back up. So I halted work and went down, got another set of these from parts store, came back and immediately put it into the impact screwdriver and set it on up here. And lo and behold, took like 2 or 3 whacks, and I was actually over here on this screw, and the freaking head of it's a number 3 head off of the impact driver. The impact supposedly strengthened for impact screw head, busted off right inside the Phillips head screw top. So that one was an issue. And then I had the stripped one, which was here. And then I had one other that was in here, and I thought to myself, well, that's not going to be a good deal. When I went to take the impact screwdriver, basically, the teeth out of this screw head, it's fused in there. It was fused. Couldn't get it out. Couldn't get out with a pick. Couldn't get it out with file. Couldn't get it out with anything. This one was the basically the damaged screw head beyond all compare. So I actually had, that's what I picked up. I also picked up a screw extraction kit. So I had drill bits, hardened steel drill bits, and we basically drilled down through this one. Now, the thing that I had a problem with, as you can see, is we haven't gotten out, and we did a little bit of damage here to the outside. If you take a look at this, it's nicely machined, and we're running a little low on light as sundown goes down, but it's a nicely machined edge, and then you've got the threads all the way around. Well, this one is just a little mangled. Sent a small drill bit down through it, it was good. Sent the second drill bit size down, was good. Because these were Loctited in so long, and they've been there, like I said, 30 years. When I tried the screw extractor, it didn't work, didn't come off. Drilled out a third one, thought we had what we want, what I got and needed. And, for those of you trying to drill some out, I've actually got two other things over on the side of the bike. I'll show you. I've got two broken screws from when this thing was stolen that I didn't realize. One's in the Kickstarter lever to remove the Kickstarter from the shaft, and the other is the water impeller, the drain screw at the bottom of the impeller base, and those have been broken off, so I'm going to work on those. But one thing you're going to do, as much as I would believe I had a steady hand and whatever, my issue is that when that third bit went down, which was just probably maybe a millimeter or two, size diameter smaller than the actual screw, it appears that it wasn't completely straight, i.e. being on a drill press, and as a result, I think if we get in here close enough, we're gonna have an issue. Let me see here. Let's see if we can get it in here right. Gonna have an issue with this area right down here at the bottom, because it would appear that in the even though I was careful working on drilling it out, I just don't know if we're going to be able to see it or not. Might be able to see it with a zoom here. It would appear that I got into the actual threads. There's a good. Let's see if we get it refocused on there. If I'm not mistaken, I may have gotten into that hub and taken out the threads. Now I can still see some threads right on there. And if we cruise over to this side, we definitely can see, where is it? There it is. So that's pretty well gouged up, but we do have some threads down there. We could probably take a tap and tap it out, but my first issue is getting the rest of this screw out, and these bits of leftover screw. I'm just looking at this now, and it just doesn't look. So, in an effort to get things straightened out, I do have a used hub on the way, and it's really, really clean. So that'll be here in a couple of days. Yeah, I just don't know whether I'm going to be able to save this. Hub or not. I just can't get a good enough look at it in order to determine, but just to be on the safe side. And then we still have this one to deal with. Still got to get this one drilled out and yeah, I might be able to save that one. But all in all, you know, the hub's in solid shape. We do have the new rim on it. I do have the new tusk brake. Let's take a look at what else was going on during the COVID time. A little bit here, a little bit there. From last time we had done the chain block, and we need to get some light in here. I actually have the clutch open right now, but we did get to the front wheel, front brake. I want to thank MX Power Play. There's a lot of people I'm going to thank on this project, but we got the tusk rotor out. Like I said, you know, getting those screws out. We're again red Loctited from the factory, and of course the replacements have the red Loctite on them. But we got new brake pads in there, new tusk brake pads, and we've got that. Along the lines of what's going on is we've got the forks. I've talked about those before. Did some looking around and gotten really fortunate. Go ahead and get some light out here for the next few. So what I was going to say was that when if you do have those things, rather than using an impact screwdriver, like I had mentioned on that third, rear brake screw that I had. So on that, I actually used, instead of the impact screwdriver, I actually have an impact driver, this little guy right down here, that I use for you know, the wheel lugs on the car and the SUV, little hybrid escape. But the hybrid is what allows me to power up. Power up light. Yes, it is true. The good Lord said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Or at least there was electricity to power the light. So in any event, here we are. Bring you up to speed. So boom. Boom, boom. All new, all cleaned up. Rims looking nice. Got the new fresh tires. Red tires back here. And we'll get hook up on those as well. Let you know what's going on with that as well. I am working with an advisor, and happens to work and ride in the industry. One thing that's come up about it is I caught the Loretta Lynn's this year, and we're basically headed to restoration of this bike, and we're going to run it in the master's class is where I'm going to be next year, and that's my target goal. So in addition to that, all right, so we got the brake line set up, so everything's bled, everything's new, everything's fresh. Take a look at that. We have the shock out. I get through here. Don't know if I have a good spot for this. Maybe right there for right now. Anyhow, we've got the rear shock off, and we have, hiding in the wings, basically did a pretty good amount of parts buying. Since this particular shock, like we talked about it before, we've got basically deplating and rust on the shock piston. So as a result, that was going to have to be re-chromed. And instead of doing that, what I decided to do is I did a little search, and lo and behold, what should materialize on the fabulous purchasing internet but a extremely compatible and much more preferred shock, used shock from a 1992 250. Bam! And the one thing I noticed about the difference between these, it's got a beautiful chrome plating. Everything's cool there. Just a little bit of cosmetic on the spring. The spring actually needs to be increased, spring rate by a little bit for my weight, right around 200 or so. But the noticeable thing between these two bad boys is side by side is something that I hadn't realized that had occurred between 90 and 92. For those of you vintage guys who are interested, but I mean, this was a beautiful shock. It came with the bolts and the hardware, everything. I do have new shock mounting bolts and stuff, but look at the difference of these two shock reservoirs. I mean, it is night and day. Look at that, much more massive shock reservoir. I think this 92 is going to work great. You know, as far as the angle of everything, you know, everything mounts good. The adjustment screws, boom. I mean, it is like El Duplicato. A little bit beefier mounts, but same adjustabilities, you know, 10 left, right, shocks, you know, identical size, length. Let's get them up here. Boom. I mean, they're just identical in every single facet. You know, the release valve's a little bit different, but other than that, so that's going on there. So that one's all set to go to I think we're gonna roll up to Race Tech to do this, and contemplating Pro Circuit, but I think Race Tech's the place to be able to go through this shock. And while I'm at it, we're gonna have them take a look at the old 90 shock too, because if we can refresh that one, you know, it's just the 92's just got, I mean, everything's bigger. The reservoir's bigger. The shock body is bigger. This is just, there's just a little bit more in terms of that. It's just a beefier unit, and we'll do that. So those are two things that are coming up as well. And even more good stuff. Since I was talking to the Race Tech guys, and on the vintage on this 90, the 41 millimeter shocks on it were just so undersprung and just kind of little, you know, weaker units in that, you know, the size. They had gone to a larger, they went to a 43 millimeter and actually flipped over from, I think I've got KYBs on here right now, which were the stock units, and changed them over to, in 92, I think they went to Shawa. In any event, I was able to, in the same purchase of that shock, I was actually able to get the, so we get some light on it. Act as a light there. Boom. Move that out of the way real quick. And check this out, bad boys. A full-on set. And I mean, I'm talking cheap. Like $50 a leg for this beautiful 43 millimeter. It came with everything. I mean, the whole, you know, it's just a clean unit. Came with even the cable grabber. Came with the screws to mount the fork guard. I've actually already got fork guards for this particular 92 that I bought. So these are going to go up. And then notice that on the caliper mounting brackets that are on this, they're actually they're 5 millimeters larger in terms of their length. Right down there. Oops, stay up there, guys. And so we're able to secure a couple of titanium mounting bolts We'll get that information as well out. But here is the big deal. We had started, because I was having such a problem. I mean, again, this thing's 30 years old. The moved on to the clutch now. And what we've got going on in this zone is went ahead and pulled the clutch. And here's what we got going on. All right. So we know the clutch plates are toast, right? I mean, here they are down here. And a few of the things, I mean, they're just toast. I mean, there's literally no, I mean, there's no plate to it whatsoever. These are down right to the plate. Steels look like they're still in pretty good shape. A little bit of bluing. But other than that, you know, again, they're just 30 years old. So those are going to be replaced. Here's our new set right here. This happens to be an EBC brake that we were able to get. Got fresh springs, heavy duties on it. One interesting thing that I came across when I was doing this is, again, this bike was stolen. And what I came to find out was that when I cracked open this cover, we got a whole gasket set that came in. Let's see, where's that guy? Boom. Got the Outlaw Racing Products. Thanks, Outlaw, for making killer set of gaskets for us. We're going to get those mounted up. And then, but check this out, guys. Inside the clutch cover housing is, I don't know if you can see it, this right here. For somehow, some way, this flywheel, that side of it, somewhere, something either got in there, broke free, or it was grinding in here. And so again, I don't know. When I look at this clutch cover from the front, if we bring it up and check it out, I noticed that there's a little bit of a weld right there, and I'm not quite sure where the hell that came from, because again, this was my original bike. There was no flaws in it whatsoever. But the other really big issue I got is clutch basket. Check out these ground out teeth. I mean, it's like literally looking at a sawtooth horse. I mean, those things are just grooved beyond a shadow of a doubt. Look at that. I mean, might as well just be brushing your teeth with them. Backside, not so bad. But again, that's not where the pressure side is. Pressure side all coming forward on these guys, and those are just grooved out. So what do? You know, here's that the screw under here is done, and then I've got this out, but I was trying, this little bugger right there got broken off, so I can't get this Kickstarter off, just to inspect everything behind the main cover. But here is the beauty, what just arrived today actually. And you know, I can't thank these places enough that have these vintage parts that are popping up. They're taking apart these old bikes. But what we've got is, oh man, you guys aren't gonna believe this. So, all right. So I was able to, I want to thank the guys at Fastmetric. I mean, totally was looking online. The one thing that I forgot to mention was back over here on the case for the engine cover, like these bolt, like check this out. Right here, I've had like a Phillips head screw like holding on the freaking case, right? And then I think I've cleaned these bolts up to an extent, gave them a soak. But everything that holds everything on, you know, water pump, things like that. All these bits, these screws for the power valve cover, you know, head bolts, cylinder bolts, things like that. Everything, and then back around the other side of the magneto cover. So for literally 28 bucks, free shipping, plus tax, the guys at Fastmetric have this gorgeous set of complete engine bolts for all vintage bikes. This is my 250. This is a full engine. It's got head and cylinder. As you can tell, it's even got the reed block in it. I've got the clutch, got the magneto cover. I've got the main clutch cover in there, main clutch case. Just every single one. And the cool thing is I didn't even expect this. I thought I was just buying from what I saw, basically the bolts for the clutch cover. But this is an entire engine of steel with, I believe, nickel plated, if I'm not mistaken. So it kind of gives it that crankcase, right case, reed valve, power valve, clutch cover, flywheel cover, and the water pump. I mean, everything to spec. And if I'm not mistaken, they are like works nickel. So they're steel screws and bolts, and then just works plated out nickel, so they kind of have that titanium look to them. Copper washers, stuff like that. So that's in there. That's beautiful. But check this out, what's just arrived today. Oh my. A whole entire bottom end, guys. A whole entire bottom end. This thing is beautiful. This actually did come from, I think, a 90. Where's the clutch cover? Where is that dog labeled? I think it's in here. The clutch cover. Let me look real quick. I think, if I'm not mistaken, yep, came from a 1990. Full on 1990. Beautiful. Beautiful inside. Just absolutely to the nines. This thing, couple $100. Whole entire bottom end. Now, we don't know what condition the bottom end is, but from the indication of just where this clutch is, look at this. Now, don't have screws, don't have the clutch cover screws, the main case screws, but no big deal there because of that kit that just came from Fast Metric. Boom, out like that. This is obviously the bent washer to lock washer it down. You fold over onto the nut to keep it is good, but the engine turns freely, and look at this clutch, guys. Now we're gonna get a chance to be able to get in here as tight as I need to. But this thing has literally no notches. Whoop. Smooth as a baby's bottom in here. Smooth, smooth, smooth. I am like loving life right now. So beyond this, again, we've got the whole entire top. I mean, oil valve cap is here. The whole entire case. We've got the whole entire motor here. And for a bottom end. So if there's anything that needs to be done, if I'm not mistaken, this actually has a hot rods crank in it, a piston crankshaft, and that would be cool, if I need to. So we're going to break this out. All right, we're wrapping up here from now. It's getting a little late. The sun's gone down. It's turned into the evening. I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this. Look for the upcoming videos, because now that we've got, kids are in school, but they're online right now. We're going back to school on October 8th. Thank you very much, everyone, for doing what you can do to keep yourself safe. And hopefully in those actions, everyone else will be safe. We'll get through this COVID thing, before too much more damage is done. And that, from the garage, gonna call it a night. Everybody take care. Peace.